Hi, this is Steph with Belladonna Dyes, and today's project is going to be a spicy plum twofer. I don't want to waste any dye, and so I'm creating the twofer. 2 for 1, right? 2 for 1. So look at all of that dye that I would just be wasting, and it would go down into the muck water, and then I would just end up pouring it down the drain. So instead of wasting it, I'm going to utilize it. So I just sprinkle it down inside of this tote, and then I'm using my spoon to spread it out. I decided for this one that I'm going to tie up a spiral, so I'm just making it the size of the spiral. I like to use the microwave splatter guard and hemostat when I make my spirals. The flat side of the microwave splatter guard creates nice, even pleats. It's the closest thing to making a pleated spiral without making a pleated spiral. Now, this Nordic Ware microwave splatter guard is no longer being made, so if you do find one online, I suggest you buy it right away. Don't think about it because they're getting harder and harder to find. So I click my hemostat down on the first click. It does not need to be overly tight, and make sure you don't press it really hard into the table because you can poke a hole right through your shirt. I give it 3 or 4 or 5 twists, and then with my opposite hand, I actually create the pleats in the spiral. And I go as far as I can using the microwave splatter guard until I can't go any farther. I hold down the center of the spiral, unclick the hemostat, and gently wiggle it out. Now for my spirals, I prefer to secure them by using rubber bands, and these are my favorite rubber bands in the color purple. And you will find links down below in the description box for these rubber bands and everything else that I use for tie-dye, so make sure that you check that out. Now, I like to make a nice tight spiral, so what I like to do is pull on the loose tails and tuck them into the nearest rubber band. And you'll notice that I go around and around a few times until when I pull on those tails, nothing more happens. Now you can overly tighten your spiral to where it wants to taco up on you. You don't want to do that. So just try to find yourself a happy medium. I should also mention, I'm not just tugging on the loose tails, I am also creating additional pleats because a microwave splatter guard, like I mentioned, could only go so far. So all those little loose tails don't really have pleats in them. And you can just yank on them and tuck them in. But I want to try to create as many pleats all the way to the edge of the t-shirt. When you create a spiral, there's a good side and then a bad side. The side that's against the table when you're spiraling it up is the good side. It has really nice flat pleats. So what I forgot to say in the very beginning of this tutorial is I started with the front side of the shirt down against the table. The reason for that is because I want that good flat side to be the top of the shirt. And so what I'm doing is I'm smashing all of that dye into the front side of the shirt. So when it's down there in that muck water soaking up all of that goodness, all of those dark lines will be more prominent on the front of the shirt when you open it up. Now this right here, I'm showing you how I got to creating that muck water. I gave the project a quick little sprinkle of soda ash for good measure, and then I added my nugget ice, which is going to then drip down into the bottom of that tote, and the spiral underneath is going to soak up all of that beautiful muck water. Nothing is going to go to waste on this project. It's recommended that you let your projects batch at 70 degrees or higher for at least 24 hours after the ice melts, and I let both of these projects batch for the full 48 hours. Now, since it's a muck dye, I just set it and forget it. So I put it in a place where I'm not going to have to move it and just let it do its thing. And then look at all that beautiful muck water. In the past, I've just done nothing with it and poured it right out. These Twofers are so exciting to me because I really feel like I'm not being wasteful. I usually pour my muck water out outside when I clean out my bins, but I poured it down the sink this time just so you guys could see how pretty it is. But my tote was dripping, so I took just a quick second to clean up my tote before I move it away from the sink, just because I don't want to make my house really messy. Tie-dyeing can be rather messy, and I just recommend that you clean up after yourself as you go. Now, for the rinse out process, I like to start by using cold water. Cold water is going to rinse away any soda ash that might still be reacting within the project, and then I increase my water up to hot and rinse until the water runs pretty much clear so the unbonded dye goes down the drain instead of into the washing machine. From here, I take the projects to the washing machine, and I like to do hot water cycles using Kirillon, which is a professional textile detergent. And then I do a final hot water cycle using Millsoft, and Millsoft is a professional fabric softener. Then I'll put the projects in the dryer, and I'll iron it, and we'll come back and we'll see the results. Well, here it is. Here's our Twofer after it's been washed and dried. And I'm super happy with the way this freebie turned out. I wasn't quite sure what to expect because at first it just looked purple on both sides, but when I opened it up and saw all this green, I was really pleasantly surprised. Now, like I had mentioned, the lines on the front side of the shirt are a little bit darker and more prominent than they are on the back. And if you remember, I explained it's because I placed the front of the shirt down inside of the tote and I rubbed all that extra dye on the front side of it. So just something to always keep in mind is to pay attention to your orientation of your shirt and what you're doing. Spicy Plum from Pro Chemical and Dye is really right up there now in my top 5 favorite colors because it's just so pretty. That beautiful magenta plum color splitting down into a mint green is just mind-blowing to me. Like, who would think you could achieve that? So the shirt on the left is the original shirt that was up on top, and then the spiral is the little freebie. So if you missed the tutorial of how to make the diamond, I recommend that you go and check it out. This is a 2-part sort of video. I didn't want to make it a 30-minute video right out of the gate, so that's why I broke it up into 2. So what do you guys think of this little freebie Twofer? Please leave me some comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell and set it to all. That way you get notified of future uploads. And remember, have fun tie-dyeing!